Few stories from the Middle Ages are as shrouded in mystery, betrayal, and blood as that of King William II, better known as William Rufus. The son of the legendary William the Conqueror, he ruled with an iron fist, crushed rebellions, defied the church, and built a legacy marked by conquest and controversy. But his death? Ah, now that is a tale worthy of a true medieval drama. A stray arrow, an ambitious brother, and a throne seized in haste. Was it an accident or a carefully orchestrated assassination? And what makes his story even more intriguing is that this was not the only scandalous chapter of his life. He never married, had no children, and lived surrounded by rumors about his conduct and his relationships with the nobility. Was he a tyrant, or simply a ruler ahead of his time? Was his downfall the result of a sinister plot, or merely the whim of fate? Get ready to dive into the tale of the Cursed King, a ruler marked by battles, betrayals, and a mysterious end. Early years and family. A king's destiny is not always written in gold. In the year 1060, amidst the turbulent lands of Normandy, William Rufus was born, the son of William the Conqueror. From an early age, his life was a perilous dance between duty and blood, for he carried the lineage of a ruthless warrior and a woman whose small stature did not reflect her vast political influence. Matilda of Flanders. While his father forged empires with fire and steel, young William grew up in the shadow of a conqueror who would forever change the course of history. His nickname, Rufus, came from the reddish hue of his hair, perhaps a sign of the blood that would stain his reign. But life at the Norman court was no fairy tale. Rivalries were forged in the flames of ambition and survival. Among his brothers, Robert Curthose, the eldest, bore the expectation of inheritance, while Henry, the youngest, watched the struggle for the throne with calculating eyes. From a young age, William displayed a bold spirit and a fiery temper, traits that would soon place him at the heart of battles not only on the battlefield, but also within his own family. His fate, however, was far from peaceful. The blood of the Normans coursed through his veins, and the war for power was only a matter of time. Rise to power. The throne of England does not always go to the one who was meant to have it. When William the Conqueror died in the year 1087, the vast empire he had built was split in two. His eldest son, Robert Curthose, inherited Normandy, while William Rufus was given the English crown. But this division was not merely a matter of primogeniture. It was a clash of wills. The conqueror had little faith in his firstborn. Robert, often described as impulsive and inept, had already rebelled against his father and lacked the strength needed to hold the English throne. Thus, William Rufus, with his unyielding presence and combative spirit, was crowned King of England. But claiming the throne was not the same as securing it. Many Norman nobles preferred Robert and saw William as an illegitimate ruler. The Anglo-Norman aristocracy found itself divided, for to hold lands in both England and Normandy meant serving two rival lords. This tension soon erupted into the first great threat to William's reign, the rebellion of the year 1088. To keep his crown, the new king needed more than just luck. He had to prove that he was willing to fight for it. Conflict with the Church. The crown and the cross were never allies during William Rufus's reign. From the moment he ascended the throne, he made it clear that he would not be a king subservient to the clergy. When the Archbishop of Canterbury, Lanfranc, died in the year 1089, William simply refused to appoint a successor, seizing the wealth of the Church to strengthen his own power. For years, the kingdom remained without a spiritual leader, and the royal treasury swelled with tithes and confiscated lands. This infuriated the papacy and provided fuel for William's critics, who saw in his arrogance a sign of heresy. Then came Anselm. The renowned theologian was chosen as the new Archbishop of Canterbury in the year 1093, but his appointment was anything but smooth. William attempted to control him as he did his other vassals, but Anselm refused to yield. The conflict between crown and clergy turned into open warfare, culminating in Anselm's exile. Meanwhile, the king continued to defy the church, amassing wealth and openly mocking its authority. To many clergymen, his defiance was nothing short of an invitation to divine wrath. And, as history would soon reveal, the mysterious death of William Rufus would give them every reason to believe that divine punishment had indeed come. For anyone looking to explore the life and reign of William II, I highly recommend the book William Rufus by Frank Barlow. This is one of the most comprehensive biographies of William II, known as Rufus, covering not only his rise to power and rule, but also his disputes with the church, his military campaigns, and the mysterious circumstances of his death. Barlow, a renowned historian, offers a detailed analysis of medieval sources and the conspiracies surrounding the reign of this controversial king. Tensions with Robert Curthose. If there was anyone who could challenge William Rufus's rule, it was his own brother, Robert Curthose. While William inherited the English throne, Robert took control of Normandy. But it quickly became clear that the two could not coexist peacefully. Even as children, their relationship had been turbulent, marked by petty rivalries and even a bizarre episode where William and their younger brother, Henry, dumped a chamber pot over Robert's head, an insult that led him to take up arms against them. Now, with two kingdoms under the rule of rival brothers, the question was inevitable. Who would truly reign over everything? The answer came through blood and betrayal. In the year 1088, Robert's supporters launched a rebellion in England, seeking to overthrow William. But the king, ever the strategist, secured the loyalty of the nobility with promises and gold, crushing the uprising before Robert could intervene. Over the following years, the brothers alternated between fragile alliances and open hostility. In the year 1091, William invaded Normandy and forced Robert to surrender lands. Later, Robert would embark on the First Crusade, leaving his domain vulnerable. Fate was setting the stage for an even greater power struggle. But a third brother, Henry, would soon enter the contest for the throne. Revolts and rebellions. Ruling a conquered land is never easy, and William Rufus learned this lesson the hard way. The Anglo-Norman nobility, dissatisfied with his ruthless methods of governance, did not hesitate to rise against him. The first major rebellion erupted in the year 1088, when barons loyal to Robert Curthose attempted to take the crown from William and place it in the hands of his exiled brother. But the Red King was not a man to hesitate. Instead of relying solely on his sword, he wielded an even greater weapon: gold. He bribed nobles, promised land and favors, and swiftly dismantled the rebellion before Robert could even set foot in England. But the troubles did not end there. To the north, Scotland became a constant threat, with King Malcolm III launching invasions into English territory in the year 1091. William responded with an unrelenting counterattack, forcing Malcolm to submit, at least for a time. To the west, the Welsh defied Norman rule, and despite William's attempts to bring the region under control, his grip on the land was never absolute. He could crush rebellions, defeat enemies, and buy loyalty. But his reign was a precarious balancing act, and the winds of treachery still blew strong. Military successes. Despite the constant threats to his throne, William Rufus was not a king who shrank from war. Quite the opposite. He thrived in the chaos of battle. With the same ferocity as his father, he crushed internal rebellions and secured Norman supremacy in England. In the north, after forcing Malcolm III into submission, William wasted no time consolidating his power by constructing Carlisle Castle, a fortress that solidified his control over the region. In the west, his war against the Welsh was marked by brutal campaigns and the construction of castles along the frontier. And in the south, Normandy remained a battleground where he and his brother Robert waged an endless struggle for territory and dominance. But his greatest military triumph came in the year 1096, when Robert Curthose set off for the Crusades. To finance his journey to the Holy Land, Robert sold the Duchy of Normandy to William in exchange for 10,000 marks of silver. This meant that, for the first time since the death of William the Conqueror, England and Normandy were once again united under a single ruler. With this, William not only consolidated his power, but also forged a path of iron and blood to become the most powerful Anglo-Norman monarch of his time. Death and mystery. War shaped the life of William Rufus, but his death became a mystery that shook the kingdom. On the 2nd day of August, in the year 1100, the king rode out for a hunt in the New Forest, surrounded by his nobles, including his friend and knight, Walter Tyrrell, and his own brother, Henry Beauclerc. What happened next remains one of the most controversial episodes in medieval history. An arrow pierced his chest, killing him instantly. The official account claims it was an accident, that the arrow deflected off a tree and struck him by mistake. But something about this story does not quite add up. His brother, Henry, was the one who gained the most from his death. On the very same day, he rushed to Winchester, seized the royal treasury, and within just 3 days was crowned King of England. Meanwhile, William's body was left abandoned in the forest, with no ceremony, no honor, until a humble charcoal burner named Purkis carried him to be buried in Winchester Cathedral. No grand funeral, no royal tribute, just a simple grave. Accident or assassination? The truth was never uncovered, but one thing is certain. William Rufus's reign ended as abruptly as it began, and his throne was claimed before anyone could contest it. The life of William II, known as Rufus, was a battlefield in every sense, both literally and politically. He ruled with an iron grip, crushed rebellions, and secured his power in both England and Normandy. But in the end, his greatest enemy may have been someone far closer than any foreign rival. His fate was sealed by a single arrow during a suspicious hunt, and his brother, Henry I, wasted no time in taking the crown. A tragic accident or a carefully orchestrated murder? What do you think? Now, let me ask you, if you were in William's place, would you have done anything differently? Do you believe his death was part of a calculated plot, or was it simply the hand of fate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss this mystery. And if you want more epic stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next video, we continue this saga with the tale of Henry I, the king who took the throne from his own brother.